shores of Lake Ontario, Rogers Centre is wide open tonight for the first game between the Texas Rangers and the Toronto Blue Jays at the Rogers Centre this year. Texas comes into Toronto red hot, 9-3 in the month of May. Hello, everybody. I'm Buck Martinez along with Rance Molnix. And Rance, the ball club, the Blue Jays, just wrapped up a 10-game road trip. Went 7-3 on the road trip, and really one game turned around the perception of the entire road trip.
And that one game was Wednesday afternoon in Boston. They went in there with 6 wins, but if you get swept, it leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth. They won that ball game on Wednesday, go 7-3, had a great trip, averaged almost 5 runs per ball game, hit 14 home runs, and played very, very well.
When you think about the offense, there are 3 guys that are really starting to heat up. And you really think about the month of May, Fred Lewis, John Buck, and Travis Snyder have really turned it up a notch.
They really have. They've kind of carried the ball club, especially when you consider Adam Lind and Aaron Hill haven't yet to find their groove. But more than the batting averages, it has been the extra base hits. 18 doubles, 26 RBIs between them in the month of May. They've really picked up the slack. Travis Snyder, he's found it. He's staying back and not pulling off the baseball. He's staying through the zone a lot better. Here he doubles down into the left field corner against Cleveland. John Buck homers against the Chicago White Sox. And Freddie Lewis, on Mother's Day, not to be outdone, turns on a fastball and drives it well out of the ballpark. And these 3 really have come up big when the Jays needed them the most.
Certainly had a lot to do with the 7-3 road trip for the Jays. Travis Snyder himself hit .395 on the road trip with 6 doubles, 2 home runs, and 7 RBIs. What is it that's gotten him going?
Just staying back and staying on the baseball, staying through the strike zone with his swing much longer and not pulling off. You know, he really struggled in April, but he's really started to pick it up here in May, and it looks like he's starting to figure some things out and fulfill his potential.
These 2 ball clubs opened up the season. The first series for the Blue Jays against the Rangers was down in Arlington. They lost the first game but came back and won 2 to win the series 2-1. But it's really a different ball club now than what we saw down there in Arlington early on.
Well, it is, because they had a healthy Nelson Cruz. Ian Kinsler's back in the lineup. He didn't play in that series. But the Jays overall really just outplayed them. 2.73 ERA as a ball club. 14 runs scored. They hit 6 home runs. That's why that doubles up the Rangers total for that series. But expect the Rangers to be a tough competitor here this evening.
Well, the Blue Jays are back at home after a very successful 7-3 road trip. Everything clicked for them on the road. The power, the defense, the pitching. They have the 2nd best winning percentage in the American League. month of May. They have the most wins of any club in the majors at 9 wins, and they have really turned things up a notch. They're healthy. Nelson Cruz is back tonight. He has been out with a hamstring problem, and Ron Washington finally has his lineup intact. Elvis Andrus, Michael Young, and Josh Hamilton. Hamilton has been on fire. Last time the Blue Jays saw him, he was really swinging the bat poorly. 21 games, 326, 7 home runs, and 21 RBIs. He's on fire. Vladdy Guerrero has really added some depth to this lineup, hitting 328 in the DH spot. Kinsler, Cruz, and Justin Smoke, the young first baseman. Max Ramirez is starting tonight, and Craig Gentry is in center field, a real speedster out in the center field.
And that's a lineup that will face young Brett Cecil here tonight. In his last 2 starts on the previous road trip was outstanding. He'll be after his 3rd win, comes in with an excellent ERA of 3.12. Opponents hitting just 204 against him, and he is really starting to mature as a pitcher. He's figured it out, knows that he can change speeds when he needs to, doesn't just have to rely on his fastball all the time, and it's really paid off for him. Brett Cecil has a fastball 90 to 94. Can be very sneaky at times, curve slider, and a very, very good changeup. But for the most part, he'll use all 4 pitches, but is primarily a 2-pitch pitcher, relies very heavily on his fastball and his change, which is an excellent go-to pitch for him.
Take a look at the defense behind Brett Cecil here this evening.
It will be Lewis, Wells, and Snyder in the outfield. Bautista at 3rd, Gonzalez at short. Aaron Hill will be back in at second base after getting last Wednesday off. Overbay at 1st. Buck does the catching, and Brett Cecil the pitching this evening for the Jays.
Travis Snyder has played well defensively all season long. He's got a couple of outfield assists, and boy, the bat is really playing catch-up right now. Shortstop Elvis Andrus will lead it off. He is on fire. He's riding a 13-game hit streak. That's the longest active hit streak in the big leagues. Pumped his average up to 311. Cecil misses with the fastball away. Andrus had 4 hits in the game yesterday against Oakland. Two balls and no strikes. It's a ball and a strike here to start with Andrus. It's 2 balls and a strike. That's what I thought it was, and the scoreboard messed me up. I shouldn't have paid attention to it. 2 balls and a strike to the leadoff hitter here. Right back up the middle. It's a 14-game hit streak for Elvis Andrus.
Elvis Andrus, one of the most exciting young players in baseball, and gets the Texas Rangers off to a good start here this evening, singling to center field.
Well, now you got to keep your eye on Andrus at first, with a very good hitter at the plate in Michael Young. Andrus has 14 steals. Ball missed down. Michael Young, the former Blue Jay, one of the best hitters in all of baseball. 282 average, 20 driven in.
He comes into the ball game this evening, or he started the season, I should say, as a career .302 hitter.
On the ground, through the left side into left field. Back-to-back base hits against Brett Cecil, and the Rangers have something going here early in the first.
Well, with Andrus, outstanding base stealer on first base, you would think that possibly Michael Young might take a strike and give him a chance to run, but maybe that changes a little bit when you got the left-hander on the mound. He got a pitch that he liked and pulled it through the hole.
Well, here's the left-handed hitting Josh Hamilton. We mentioned a hot streak for Hamilton. 7 home runs in his last 21 games. Nobody out. Down and away for a ball. Cecil really needs to take advantage of this matchup. Left-handers haven't hit a thing against him all year long, and he needs an out now. Vernon Wells got fooled on that ball, and it's going to drop in front of him, and nobody's at second base. They better get that ball in. Nobody came over to cut it off. Everybody got fooled. I don't know if they saw the ball off the bat at all. But nobody covered second. Nobody came in to cut the ball off. And 3 hits in a row has loaded the bases early.
Well, a big swing, and the ball's hit right off the end of the bat. And initially, Vernon Wells took a step back and then tried to recover, but was unable to do so. And if there had been somebody hanging around second base, it probably could have forced the runner, because, of course, Michael Young had to hang around and make sure that the ball was going to fall in.
Well, now the ever-dangerous Vladdy Guerrero hitting with the bases loaded and nobody out.
So the one thing in the early going here, the first 4 hitters, Brett Cecil has not been able to get ahead in the count. He's been behind every hitter so far, and now he's in a lot of trouble with a tough out at the plate.
A ball and no strikes to the Rangers DH. Good fastball. He fouled back into the glove. Guerrero won the Rangers game yesterday in the 12th inning with a single. Always a threat. Bases loaded. 6 career grand slams for Guerrero. Change up, down and away. 2 balls and a strike. We're in the first. 3 consecutive base hits, and the Rangers have loaded the bases. Andrews at third, Young at second, and Hamilton at first. Pass Bautista. Andrews scores. Here comes Young right behind him. Hamilton's going to stop at second. 4 consecutive hits against Cecil here in the first. The Rangers are out in front 2-0.
Well, throughout his career, Vlad Guerrero's been one of the best run producers and RBI men in baseball. And here, again, with the bases loaded, he delivers. The ball hit very hard, and you could see it looked like Bautista anticipated the ball was going to come up just a little bit. It didn't. It stayed down somewhat, and it was hit so hard he was unable to recover. And the Texas Rangers are in business.
Well, they can hit. They've always had that reputation, and now Ian Kinsler steps in with still nobody out. Bunts up the third baseline. Cecil's going to have to hurry in time to get Kinsler. Well, what a good play by Brett Cecil as he got over to the foul line, barehanded it, and threw a strike to first.
Well, it really was. Initially, when the ball was bunted, it didn't look like he was going to have a chance to throw at Kinsler, who runs well, but able to get over, get himself in good position so that the moment he feels the baseball, he can turn and make a quick snap throw and just get Kinsler at first base.
He moves the runners up, second and third now for Nelson Cruz. This is his first game back on the active roster. He was disabled with a hamstring injury. Off the plate inside. Cruz got off to a great start. 7 home runs, 17 driven in before he went on the DL. Popped up shallow right field. Snyder comes in. Tagging at third is Hamilton. Throw to the plate. Not in time. Cruz picks up the RBI on the sacrifice fly as Hamilton comes in to score. The Rangers are out in front in the first 3-0.
Well, initially when the ball was hit, it wasn't going to be deep enough to score Hamilton, but the wind's blowing out right now here at Rogers Center. That forced Travis Snyder to have to give a little ground and back up just a little bit to make the catch, and that was the difference on the throw to the plate.
Now the first baseman, 23-year-old Justin Smoke. switch hitter will bat right-handed against the left-hander Cecil. Vlad Guerrero at third base. He moved up on the sac fly. First pitch swinging. Brendan Wells with a long run. He'll run it down and make the catch. But the Rangers get 3 runs on 4 hits in the first off Brett Cecil. Jump out on top. Wells, Overbay, and Gonzalez. Bautista, Buck, and Snyder had a great road trip. A lot of power. John Buck's on a 6-game hit streak in which he's hit .450 with 2 doubles, 3 home runs, and driven home 6. Bottom part of the order has really been productive.
They'll face hard-throwing Rich Harden here tonight. Outstanding arm. Lack of command has been a problem throughout his career, but comes into the ball game 3.53 and has been staked to a 3-0 lead here in the first inning.
Bounces the first pitch of the ball game into dirt. Fred Lewis had a great road trip. Has his average up to 296. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Lewis hit .348 on the road trip. 6 doubles, a home run, and he drove in 8 runs. 3 balls, no strikes. Leadoff batter. Last time the Blue Jays saw Rich Harden, he came out of the chute red hot, struck out 7 in the first 3 innings. Now he's issued the 4-pitch walk.
Well, Rich Harden, with an outstanding arm, can throw very hard. Has a fastball that will touch 95. And an excellent changeup. What's really unique about him for a starter is he is basically a 2-pitch pitcher. Mentioned that he's had poor command, and that has been a nemesis for him. But when you can go out there as a starting pitcher with basically just 2 pitches and get big league hitters out at the rate he does.
5 straight balls as Aaron Hill takes the first pitch inside.
You have an electric arm.
Been a struggle for Aaron Hill, just 2 for his last 28. Excuse me, check swing, and that's been a big problem. Indecisive, not really selective at the plate.
Yes, and in this situation, you would have thought that Aaron Hill's probably going to take until he gets a strike. He just walked the leadoff man 4 straight pitches, then the first pitch to Aaron's ball 1. So you know you're facing a pitcher that at times struggles with control. Why not see if he can throw a strike?
Upstairs, 2 balls and a strike to the Blue Jays second baseman. Max Ramirez is going to go out and have a chat with his pitcher. And we talked with Cito Gaston about facing Rich Harden, and the one thing he said was you've got to force him into the strike zone.
Make him get you out throwing strikes. That's easier said than done, but at least that's something that should be of focus for the hitters. You break Rich Harden down about 63-64% of the time he's going to throw his fastball, and then the remainder, about 35%, he's going to throw his changeup. So as a hitter, if you want to break him down, you can pick one or the other.
And right now, you better be looking fastball. He hasn't been able to throw a strike. 3-1 to Aaron Hill. And you don't want to get picked off.
No, you don't want to get picked off. And Fred Lewis was leaning and almost was picked off.
There goes Lewis. Pitches outside. Back-to-back walks issued by Harden.
Defensively this evening for the Texas Rangers, it will be Hamilton, Gentry, and Cruz in the outfield. Young at third. Andrews at short. Kinsler at second. Smoke at first. Ramirez behind the plate, and Rich Harden does the pitching this evening for the Rangers. And Nelson Cruz, everybody talks about his bat, but a good outfielder with a very good throwing arm. Last year he had 11 assists in right field. That was 4th in the American League, and the most since a right fielder for the Texas Rangers, going all the way back to Ruben Sierra, who had 15 in 1991.
Yeah, he's a much better outfielder than people realize. Adam Lynn steps in with first and second and nobody out here in the first. Rangers scored 3 in the top half of the inning. Harden really having a time trying to find the strike zone here early. Adam Lynn hitting just .215. He, like Aaron Hill, just really trying to be patient, get some good pitches to hit. Changeup missed down, and Harden's really battling.
And again, a situation where if you're Adam Lynn, let's see maybe if he can throw a strike.
Only thrown one.
Or you just one pitch, one zone, and if it's not there, you don't swing at it.
Boy, that's the last thing Ron Washington wanted to see after his club jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Rich Harden can't find the strike zone. There's a strike. Now, as a hitter, what's your mindset here as Adam Lynn steps in with a 3-1 count?
Well, it would be the same as with a 2-0 count. 3-1, it's one pitch, one zone, and if it's not in the area you're looking for, you take it.
They walk the bases loaded, nobody out. 3 straight walks. We mentioned the Blue Jays faced Rich Harden in the first series down in Arlington, and he had 7 strikeouts in the first 3 innings and then couldn't get out of the 4th. Pitch count up to 90 after 3 2/3. Vernon Wells, 309 with 9 home runs. And now Harden's not going to get anything close. He has to prove to the umpire, Mike Winters, that he can throw a strike.
Well, he came in to the ball game tonight. He pitched 35 2/3 innings, had walked 25 hitters.
1-1.
And to show you how good his stuff is, even having walked 25 and 35 2/3, opponents are still hitting just .225 against him, and that also tells you he's been behind in the count a lot. So great arm.
1-1 to Wells. Bouncing ball over the mound. They'll only get one. And Wells drives in Fred Lewis from third on the ground ball out. Pretty good play by Kinsler, even just to retire Wells.
It's a very nice play by Ian Kinsler. Had to charge very hard and make a quick snap throw.
Tough play all the way across his body. Kinsler's missed over a month with a high ankle sprain. Second and third, one out now for Lyle Overbay. Chance to get the Jays right back in this game. Good cut on a fastball. Infield is back. They'll concede a run on a ground ball. Kinsler deep at second. 3-1 Rangers lead it. You have seen nothing but fastballs and changeups from Rich Harden. Good late movement on the fastball.
Just an outstanding arm. You know, most pitchers that just possess two pitches, they're out in the bullpen. Yeah. And oftentimes that might be a setup man or a closer. So it's very unusual for a starter to just have two pitches.
A ball and two strikes. Up and away. Ball took off. 2-2 now.
And if you're Lyle Overbay, of course, in this situation now with two strikes, you're just saying, let me just make some contact, put the ball in play on the ground, and at least move that runner at third, score him, Aaron Hill.
Drive gap left center. Got a chance to get down. Hits the base of the wall. 2 runs will come in to score. Overbay's headed for second. And the Blue Jays, just like that, had tied it up. Lyle Overbay's 8th double drives in 2, and we're knotted at 3.
Well, in the first couple of swings, he looked like he was a little long, but with 2 strikes, he made a nice adjustment, shortened up just a little bit. This is a good compact swing, stays on the baseball and drives it off the bottom of the wall in left center. Here you see the bounce off the wall, but a nice job by Hamilton backing up the center fielder. But the Jays have done what you want to do. They've answered right back.
Overbay at second for Gonzalez, who takes a good rip at a high fastball.
And we talked about it in the scouting report. Problem for Harden has been lack of command, and it's hurt him here in the first inning tonight.
And a little breaking ball that Gonzalez went after. Harden's ahead of Alex Gonzalez. 2 balls, no balls, and 2 strikes. Down up the right side. Alex Gonzalez has had a tough start to the month of May, hitting just 191 in May. He had a big game-winning home run in the 12th inning against the White Sox on Friday night, game 2 of that series. Good grab by Ramirez.
That's one that just happened to bounce right in the glove. No technique there. Just throw the glove out and hope the ball goes in it.
Really tough to catch a guy that's struggling as much as Harden is right now. You just really don't know where it's going to go. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Popped up. Shallow right field. Cruz is calling for it and makes the catch. 2 outs.
Well, as a catcher, do you sometimes, when a pitcher's really struggling to lose command, do you maybe just try to take one side of the plate and see if he can, find that side somewhere to go to get a strike?
Yeah, you're just trying to get really one half for the other and see where he's most comfortable. Jose Bautista with Overbay at second and 2 outs.
You know, Bautista comes in the ballgame hitting just .214, but he's been productive. He's hit 7 home runs. He's driven in 23.
2 balls, no strikes. That was the 29th pitch of the inning thrown by Rich Harden.
You wonder, comes into the night's ball game 0-3 with a 4.54 ERA career-wise against the Jays, and you just wonder if maybe being a Canadian when he faces the Blue Jays, if maybe he tries a little too hard.
4 walks in this inning. Blue Jays have scored 3 runs on a 1 hit. And John Buck will bat. Ron Washington making some notes to himself.
And again, a situation where, you know, not taking anything away from Jose Bautista, but he's hitting .214, and now you walk him and bring a guy to the plate that's been on fire. Sometimes it helps, not that he's not aware. Most certainly he wasn't trying to walk Bautista, but bring a guy to the plate that's swinging a hot bat.
And one thing John Buck has been doing is swinging with an awful lot of confidence. So he'll take the borderline pitches, look for something he can drive. 8 home runs for John Buck. Good change up there with a lot of late movement.
Here you got to look at what he did on the road trip. 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, 333. See if he can stay hot right here in this situation.
Change up again.
It was up and he let it get just a little bit too deep.
Blue Jays have tied it here with 3 runs in the bottom of the first. Rich Harden walked the first 3 batters he faced. Another good block by Ramirez. Overbait drives in 2 with an opposite field double. He's at second base. Brett Cecil had a rough first inning as well. He gave up base hits to the first 4 Ranger batters. Vladdy Guerrero drove in 2 with a single, and then Nelson Cruz had a sac fly. Peeled down at first base. Hunter Wendelstedt said he checked in plenty of time. Be a full count now with runners at first and second and 2 outs. 36 pitches in this inning. Runners will be off on the pitch. Five walks in the inning. And the 9th batter will come to the plate with the bases loaded. Travis Snyder. Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, reluctantly calling to the bullpen.
Well, you'd like to ideally leave him out there and hope that he settles in and figures some things out, but at the same time, you can't let the baseball game get away from you. So it's forced manager Ron Washington into a position that he's got to get somebody up in the bullpen.
Travis Snyder faces a high fastball. That time, Snyder really played into Harden's hand. Went after a borderline pitch upstairs. Harden's ahead 0-2. Big numbers on the road trip for the young right fielder. 395, 15 for 38 with some major damage. Fouled it off.
On Wednesday afternoon, Travis Snyder would drive in Overbay with a double, and then later on hit a 2-run home run into the Jays bullpen, and he really was the difference in the ball game for the Jays. And a huge win on Wednesday afternoon in Boston.
Breaking ball just down. A ball and 2 strikes. Bases are loaded. 2 outs here, bottom of the first.
Cito Gaston was saying what's made a difference for Travis Snyder is he's staying back. He's staying with his swing through the strike zone and on the baseball better or longer, and the result is he's driving the ball to all fields.
Pulled that changeup foul.
Well, you got a real good look at when he hit the off-speed pitch out of the ballpark in Boston. Although he got out on his front foot just a little bit, his hands stayed back very well, and he was able to stay on the baseball. And when he was struggling, especially in the month of April, he was pulling off a lot with his front shoulder.
Harden strikes out Snyder to end the inning. Blue Jays tie the game up on 3 hits in the bottom of the first. 3 runs, 1 hit. Lyle Overbay, opposite field double. Drives in. $5 p.m. Pacific on all Sportsnet channels. Opening game of the Memorial Cup. Brett Saso gets a fresh start here in the second. Back to a tie game at 3-all. He and Rich Harden both had a rough first inning. Max Ramirez will bat for the first time. Rangers sent 7 men to the plate in the first. Drive toward left field. This ball is crushed. Max Ramirez has just regained the lead for the Rangers. His second home run of the season.
Well, Brett Cecil hasn't walked anybody in the ball game tonight, but he has really struggled with command. He hasn't been able to get ahead of the hitters, and when he's been in the strike zone, he's been what they like to call wild in the strike zone. And this is a pitch basically right down Broadway, and Ramirez hit a no-doubter.
4 runs on 5 hits for the Rangers, first time through the order. Now it's all about adjustments for young pitchers, and now Brett Cecil is going to have to try to figure out an adjustment here. Craig Gentry, the center fielder. Went after a breaking ball. A ball on the strike. Breaking ball missed upstairs.
Yeah, I was reading an article today about Brett Cecil, and he was quoted as saying, you know, this is part of the maturing process, that against the Oakland A's.
There's a fly ball to center field, and Brennan Wells basically in his tracks makes the catch. 1 out.
In the second inning of that ball game, he gave up 4 runs, and he realized that they were just looking to hit the fastball. And he said, the next inning I went back out, and that's the only thing I threw. The only thing I threw was just nothing but off-speed pitches. I didn't throw a fastball at all. It just changeups, curveball, slider. And he said it really gave him a chance to settle in. He had a good inning, and he settled in and went through the 7th inning of that ball game. And that may be a case here tonight. Just got to maybe change the game plan on the run a little bit.
Well, this is the second time that Cecil has started against the Rangers. Last August 31st, he got hit hard against this ball club. And there's another base hit for Elvis Andrus. He's 2 for 2 tonight.
Well, the Texas Rangers have always been aggressive up and down their lineup. That's their style. They're not a type of a team that's really going to try to work the count, and when they're looking for a mistake, and when you make that mistake, they're going to get on it, and that's what they've done here tonight.
Well, Michael Young will bat with 1 out and a runner at first. Young single to left field in his first at bat. I mentioned Cecil's start last August 31st against the Rangers. He had a 11-0 lead and gave up 7 runs in the 5th, and the score would end up 18-10. Blue Jays would win it, but the Rangers got to him. And you know, sometimes when you have young pitchers that have a tough outing against the ball club, it takes them a while to get over that. You just have that image of that 7-run inning in your mind.
Or you start to think that this is a ball club that I have trouble with. And really, you don't have enough history against them.
3 balls and no strikes.
If you're, you know, Brett Cecil, to feel like a ball club maybe has your number.
Four 3 Rangers lead it here, top of the 2nd. It's the first walk Cecil has issued. Comes with 1 out here in the 2nd.
Well, the Texas Rangers have picked it up offensively. April 21st, they were hitting .237 as a ball club, 11 home runs, hitting .233 with runners in scoring position. But since then, they have really picked it up. Look at the extra base totals. They go to 33 doubles since April 21st, 21 home runs. Runners in scoring position has improved significantly. Well, they're a ball club right now. If you're not sharp as a pitcher, they're gonna beat you up.
Now, we mentioned they're starting to get healthy too. This is the first game in which the Rangers have had Ian Kinsler and Nelson Cruz in the lineup all year long. Josh Hamilton, swing and a miss to the breaking ball. Hamilton had a little Texas League base hit in front of Vernon Wells, hit it right off the end of the bat. That loaded the bases with nobody out. He came in to score on the sacrifice fly by Nelson Cruz. Strikes. They've been a 50-50 proposition. A ball and a strike to Josh Hamilton. Chased another breaking ball.
You talk Brett Cecil basically Yeah, he has all 4 pitches, but for the most part, he's a 2-pitch pitcher, relies almost entirely on his fastball and his change. But tonight, the change hasn't worked very effectively for him. Hasn't been able to command it, so he's went to the breaking ball, and it's been pretty good for him at times.
Gets a big strikeout there of Josh Hamilton through the breaking ball.
Well, the last 2 pitches to Josh Hamilton were breaking balls, and he never made the adjustment, but in very, very good location. Starts it in the strike zone and lets it finish just out. But another tough man to deal with here in Vlad Guerrero.
Drove in 2 in the first inning with a single past the third baseman. 2 outs. Cued off the end of the bat. That's going to drop in right field. Andrews comes around third. He's going to score. Michael Young goes to third. Guerrero's driven in 3. Just a little cued ball off the end of the bat. Drops in front of Snyder in right.
Well, the one thing that Vlad Guerrero's going to do, no matter what the situation is, he's going to swing the bat and be aggressive. And this was a good pitch from Brett Cecil. A changeup in a very, very good spot. Down. It clearly fools Guerrero, but he cues it right off the end of his bat and dumps it into right field. And this is when you start to say to yourself, okay, it's going to be this kind of a night. Make a good pitch, and guy bloops it in on you.
First and third, 2 outs now for Ian Kinsler. Kinsler put down a bunt in the first inning. Perfect sacrifice bunt. Two balls and no strikes. It's the same type of game that the first 2 games in Boston were, but the Boston games were because of base on balls. Brett Maher and Dana Evelyn both had trouble with their command and walked 15 in those first 2 games. Three balls and no strikes to Ian Kinsler. It's the first game of a short 5-game homestand. Blue Jays had an off day yesterday after going 7-3 on the 10-game road trip. Kinsler swinging 3-0 and pops it up the right side.
Ian Kinsler, a very good fastball hitter. And 3-0 lets it go on a fastball, and a little bit surprised by the fact that it beat him a little bit. He fought it back off over here to the right side. You'd think that being a very good fastball hitter, he'd have been geared up and catch that fastball out front, looking to drive it maybe left center over to this foul pole, left field foul pole, and another fastball gets on him just a little bit. And it could be, we talked about it. When you're out for a long period of time, it takes you a while to get caught back up to gain speed.
3-2. Guerrero's off at first, and there he caught up to the fastball out in front. A little bit more what you expect when a good hitter's got the count in his favor.
That's what I would have been expecting. 3-0.
Two outs. Off the end of the bat. Guerrero will go back to first. Texas scored 3 in the first and 2 here in the second. Michael Young walked. He's at third. Guerrero had a base hit to right. He's at first. Ball 4. Second walk in the inning. The bases are loaded for Nelson Cruz. Cruz had a sac fly to right field in his first at bat. Once again, Cito Gaston and Bruce Walton trying to figure out where they go from here. Nelson Cruz chased a breaking pitch. Cruz went on the disabled list April 27th. Had a hamstring strain. It's his first game back. Base hit, left center. Vernon Wells not going to cut it off. One run comes in to score. Young scores. Guerrero's right behind him, and here comes Kinsler all the way from first base. Nelson Cruz has driven in 4 runs. A 2-out bases clearing double to the wall in center field.
And again, it just a missed location. Wanted to bury the breaking ball, get it down and in, and the ball ends up right out over the plate, and Cruz hits it on the line past the shortstop so hard that it goes all the way to the wall in left center. And of course, with 2 outs and everybody running, Kinsler was going to have no problem scoring all the way from first base.
Well, it's been a problem for both starting pitchers here tonight. Brett Cecil will face the 9th man to bat here in the 2nd inning. Josh Wernicke begins to loosen up down in the bullpen. Rich Harden, the Rangers starter, faced 9 men in his first inning of work. Cruz is at second for Justin Smoke. John Buck went out there after they just had a meeting. It's interesting that with Cruz at second base, maybe he felt they needed to camouflage the signs a little bit, but he didn't hesitate after that first pitch. One ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Outside. Cruz has already driven in 4 here tonight. There's a strike. You talk about starting pitchers go to the mound 32, 33 times, and it's just a matter of developing consistency, especially for young starters like Cecil. And another strike, 2-2.
And in this situation here, where you're at the 2nd inning, you hope that Brett Cecil can settle down. They pitch you through the 5th, get you into the 6th inning of this game. That most certainly means you don't have to use that bullpen and burn them up here in the first game of the series, which could affect the outcome over the weekend.
2-2, and he strikes out Smoke. Good breaking ball. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Max Ramirez, the catcher, got it started. His 2nd home run of the season. Rangers are up 5. Local athletics. It's unfortunate. He's got a great arm and a lot of physical abilities, but he's always been dealing with major injuries.
And maybe one of the reasons why he has yet to really figure some things out on the mound and maybe harness up some control is the fact that he's missed so many ball games that he hasn't been out there on any type of a very consistent basis and give himself a chance to really figure some things out, mature, and settle in.
And again here in the second inning, falls behind Fred Lewis, 2 balls and no strikes.
And you have to believe here, if you're Fred Lewis, that he's going to take, not going to be swinging. He's very wild in the first inning, and you're down by 5 here going to the bottom of the second, and again.
Yeah, there's no reason to swing early. Obviously, got to have Harden show you he can throw strikes.
Yeah, as a hitter, you don't want to help him out.
3-2.
But we've seen tonight at times when he's been in the strike zone, in particular with that fastball, that even in 3-1, 3-0 counts, when the hitters have a real advantage, they're having trouble catching up with that good fastball.
Inside corner. That's the tough one there. Fred Lewis called out on the fastball on the inside corner. Rich Harden came all the way back from 3-0.
But you can see the catcher Ramirez actually was just kind of setting up in the middle and saying, here, throw it to the glove, and he threw it in a perfect spot. Started it just off the inside corner and brought it right back for strike 3.
Aaron Hill walked and scored in the first.
That fastball has good life through the strike zone. There's guys that throw hard, and then there's guys that seems like the fastball gets up to the plate and just explodes.
And check swing toward the shortstop. Andrews throws out Hill. 2 down. Rich Harden does have late movement, and that'll get a lot of ground balls as that fastball doesn't really light up the radar gun. He'll pitch at 92, 93, but the movement, very difficult for hitters to square it up. Adam Lynn, the DH. See, Ramirez trying to really cause Harden to focus on his glove with that movement. Watch how he shakes his glove here, hit right here.
Well, he knows that if Rich Harden can just throw strikes and keep the ball down with his good movement, he's going to have success.
A ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the second. Rangers jumped out with 3 runs in the first. Blue Jays tied it with 3 of their own. And then the Rangers jumped all over Brett Cesa with a 5-run second inning. 2-2. Full count. One thing that we have seen with this Blue Jays ball club, because they hit home runs, they're never out of a game. And the ability to strike anytime, anywhere in the lineup. Harden strikes out 2 in the inning. A 1-2-3 second.
own Home Hardware or Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Josh Renicky comes into the game making his 6th appearance of the season. A very short outing for Brett Cecil. Cecil lasting just 2 innings.
Josh Renicky worked in 5 ball games so far. 6 2/3, 5 strikeouts. And
take a look at the pitching line for Brett Cecil. His pitching line brought to you by MLB 10, the show, only on PlayStation.
Brett Cecil really struggled tonight with his command. He walked 2, but was constantly behind in the count, made a number of mistakes in the strike zone, and the Texas Rangers were able to take advantage of it. Josh Renicky with an opportunity here to come in. Maybe shut the Rangers down for 3-4 innings and give his team a chance to play some catch-up.
Josh Renicky did a good job his last outing. Came in and settled things down in Boston. Breaking ball fouled off. Max Ramirez behind the ball and 2 strikes. Renicky and Rami Lewis really helped out. Once Brandon Morrow left in the second, Morrow lasted just an inning and 2/3. Renicky pitched 2 1/3, and Lewis pitched 3. Popped out of play into the seats. So in that game on Monday in Boston, after Brandon Morrow battled his control problems, Renicky and Lewis gave Cedar Gaston's 5 1/3 innings of 4-hit relief.
You know, we've talked about the importance of Wednesday's win in Boston and what it meant to him finishing up the road trip 7-3. But after a couple of rough outings from their starters on Monday and Tuesday, I need to mention the fact that Sean Markham came out Wednesday and shut the Red Sox down, did a tremendous job, pitched a great ball game. The Jays ended up winning 3-2.
Full count to Ramirez. Yeah, Sean Markham really played the role of stopper very effectively. They needed a big start, and he gave it to him, winning that game in the series finale. Leadoff walk.
Hey, you're talking about the relievers and what they were able to do at Fenway Park, and here's a very, very good look at how well they performed. 12 1/3 innings of work. Gave up just 2 earned runs, 12 strikeouts, 1 an inning. So when the Jays needed a lift from their bullpen, they got it in Boston.
Yeah, Rami Lewis, Sean Camp, both pitching very well. Camp in Tuesday's game. It's 2 innings. There's a strike. Craig Gentry, center fielder. Right out to center his first time up. But bullpen's going to have to reach back a little bit extra here. Try to keep this Rangers team in check and give the offense a chance to get back in this game. Ball on the strike. Breaking ball knocked down by John Buck. Just sit back there and try to figure out something that'll work as a catcher. Just to get your pitcher ahead. Keep the defense on their toes. Nothing worse for a defensive team than to stand out there while pitchers are walking guys. We saw the impact of that in Boston in dramatic fashion.
So what do you do? How long do you stay with a particular pitch to a particular side of the plate before you give up on it and say, well, let's try something else?
Well, you're kind of limited with relievers in that basically they'll throw 3 pitches and you've just got to hope that one of them will come around for you. Back-to-back walks. Not much you can do as a manager or pitching coach. It's either telling the infield to stay back. Don't look for a bunt in this situation.
Yeah, he's letting Jose Bautista know, just go ahead and play back. Andrus with 2 singles already in tonight's game and up 5. You wouldn't think that he would sack bunt anyway. He might try to bunt for a base hit, but you'd think he's going to go ahead and try to drive in a run.
Already has 2 hits tonight. Extended his hit streak to 14 games.
Yeah, sometimes if a hitter is really struggling and he knows it and he's not comfortable at the plate, he might be more apt to bunt in this situation. But when you're swinging the bat well,
pretty late call by Mike Winters there. I think that caught Andrus by surprise. 0-2.
Andrus at this point, after singling twice, hitting .322 on the season. So he's comfortable at the plate right now.
Rangers really kind of took off when Andrus was moved into that leadoff spot. And Julio Bobon hitting leadoff, Andrus hitting 9th. But since he's gotten hot, they put him at the top of the order, and the club has really taken off. First and second, nobody out. Good fastball down and away. One thing that you're really concerned about if you're a manager in a situation like this is having a bullpen that's not equipped with a long man, basically. Rami Lewis did a heck of a job of giving Cito Gaston 3 innings the other night in Boston. But Renicky and Lewis were both working in the later innings of the games when they were in AAA. Sean Camp's a 2-inning guy. Casey Jansen's a 2-inning guy. Frazier, Downs, and Gregg just 1 inning, of course, and you don't want to pitch them until you get back in this game and hopefully get the lead back. Two and two.
Clearly, Andrus is seeing the ball very well, because after falling behind, he's been able to fight off a couple of tough pitches. He's been able to lay off a couple of real close pitches. That last one was a tough pitch for him to lay off, but he has to be seeing the ball very well to stay off that last pitch.
Fouled it out of play. Andrus is just 21 years old, and he played all year last year. Had a respectable year as a 20-year-old rookie. Played in 145 games and hit .267. And now he's a little more familiar with what he has to do to play every day in the big leagues, what the pitchers are going to try to do to attack him. Up and in. Full count. Back-to-back walks by Renicky to start the third inning. Ramirez at second, Gentry at first.
On the ground, Gonzalez to Hill for one. First base double play. Boy, Gonzalez made a tough play look easy.
Yes, he did. Started to come and get the ball, which is what you want to do as an infielder, but realized that he wasn't going to be able to get the short hop. So he makes an adjustment, takes a quick step back, gets the longer hop. Nice feed to Aaron Hill, who completes the double play.
Boy, Gonzalez had to make a quick adjustment. Aaron Hill hung in there with the runner bearing down on him. 2 outs, man at third.
Alex Gonzalez can play shortstop. This guy right here is pretty good too. Michael Young.
Well, Michael Young has started out as a shortstop, moved to second, now he's moved to third. Doesn't miss a beat. A block by John Buck on the breaking ball. Top of the third inning here at the Rogers Center. Rangers are on top 8-3. Deep in the hole. Going to be a tough play for Gonzalez. Not in time. Ball skips off Michael Young. Going to get out in right field line. And ball got past Overbay and hit Michael Young after he reached first base. Ramirez comes in to score. Should be an infield hit and an RBI for Michael Young.
It was going to be interesting at first base. Gonzalez quickly up and the snap throw. And well, it was going to be bang bang. Maybe a call that could have went either way. And a great effort. And it'd be a tough error for the shortstop Alex Gonzalez when the throw hit the runner. Of course, it goes an error and a base hit for Michael Young.
Base hit and an RBI for Young. He's at second. Josh Hamilton. Hamilton struck out in the second inning. Had a Boop single in the first. Oh, and 2. Renicky got a big double play with the bases loaded. And then the ball to deep shortstop. Michael Young with the infield hit. Drives in a run. Hamilton strikes out for a second time.
Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Buck Martinez, Rance Mullinex here at the Rogers Center. Blue Jays set to bat here in the bottom of the third inning. Vernon Wells will lead things off. Chase the first pitch and pops it back over the screen. Wells picked up the RBI on the ground ball to second base in the first inning. Harden seemed to have straightened things out. Struck out 3 of the last 4 batters he's faced. Snyder to end the first and then 2 in the second. Tried to go upstairs and Wells popped it in foul ground. Smoke comes down and makes the catch from first base. Wow.
Well, you have to believe the fact that after the Rangers put up 5 in the top of the second and answered right back, maybe that relaxed Harden just a little bit and giving him a chance, a new lease on life, so to speak, in this ball game, and a chance to settle down, and so far he's done so.
Lyle Overbay with the 2-run double in the first inning. Hits that ball a ton to right field, and Cruz is not going to catch this one. That ball is out of the wall in right. Home run, Lyle Overbay, 2 for 2. A double and now a home run. His 3rd home run of the season.
Well, Lyle Overbay at times can be passive at the plate and not real aggressive, but tonight in his first at bat, the first pitch he saw for a strike, he was aggressive and swung at it. Here he gets a fastball to his liking on a 1-0 count and drives it out of the ballpark.
Lots of time to come back. Alex Gonzalez takes the first pitch strike. Breaking ball just off the outside edge. He cuts that. In Harden ahead, 0-2. Well, you can see the physical talent of Rich Harden. Just a problem with his control. Oh, he's got all the weapons. Center field, Gentry with good speed gets back just in front of the warning track. Don't forget that the MasterCard Memorial Cup is underway. The hosts, Brandon Wheat Kings, are taking on the Windsor Spitfires, and you can catch the action on all Sportsnet channels. Opening game of the Memorial Cup. Base hit, Jose Bautista. Gentry over to cut it off. Bautista's been on board twice tonight.
Well, there's been a number of balls hit hard tonight, but none of them any harder than the base hit by Bautista, a line drive that really was no more than a couple of steps to the right of the second baseman Kinsler, and he could make no play on it. A good job by Gentry to hustle over and cut the ball off and hold Bautista to single.
Been a little bit of a different Rich Harden after the first inning. He'd been around the strike zone with all of his pitches. Good slider. Again, 0-2. 0-2 on Overbay, 0-2 on Gonzalez, and now 0-2 on John Buck. Blue Jays are batting 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Lyle Overbay's solo home run, his 3rd of the season. Max Ramirez done a nice job of blocking those balls in the dirt tonight. And it's a real challenge, as we mentioned, when you're not really sure where the ball is going from your pitcher, to be quick enough to block those balls down in the dirt.
And that's, oftentimes the importance of keeping the ball in front of you if you're the catcher goes off often overlooked. But what that block does is it keeps Bautista from moving into scoring position.
Full count now to John Buck. Bautista will be off on the pitch. There goes the runner.
And it was interesting, before Ramirez called that 3-2 pitch, he took a look at the on-deck circle to see who was on deck. And we'll never know, but that may most certainly have been determined the pitch that he elected to call. There was something off speed. Buck pulls it foul.
Two-out walk. And Travis Snyder will get another chance with a couple of men on here. Snyder struck out against Harden to end the 1st.
And really, in his first at bat against Harden, it was nothing but challenge fastballs. So we'll see if that's the case here, and if Travis Snyder can catch up with one.
2 on, 2 outs. Breaking ball inside. Mentioned Snyder in his great road trip, hit .395 on the road trip with 6 doubles and 2 home runs. This is why the Blue Jays are never out of a game.
One swing of the bat right here in this situation, and you're back within 2. And now if you Travis Snyder 2-0, and you're obviously looking fastball, and make it be at the belt or below, down just a little bit.
Good pitch at the knees.
A little easier to catch up with the fastball when it's down a little bit as opposed to up around the letters.
2 balls and a strike. Don't get picked off in this game. You're down by 5. You got to make certain that you go base to base. Ramirez trying to end the inning by picking up Bautista at second. 3 balls and a strike to Travis Snyder. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. Good cut of the fastball. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners will be moving on the pitch.
Even when you know that fastball's coming, it's hard to square it up from Rich Harden because it has so much late movement and life to it.
Quite a battle going on as Snyder's fouled off a couple high fastballs. Doug Mathis is loosening up in a hurry. Rich Harden has thrown 82 pitches for the bottom of the 3rd. This is exactly where he was when he was knocked out of the game back in April against the Blue Jays. And they fouled back. He left the game after 3 2/3, throwing 90 pitches. Another full count pitch to Travis Snyder. Fouled it off.
They have a good battle going on right now, and of course Travis Snyder, we pointed out, has been swinging the bat very, very well as of late and here in the month of May, and he's fought off 3 fastballs, and that last pitch, a 3-2 breaking ball, a nice job to fight off a tough pitch, having not seen it in this at bat.
Another foul back, 10th pitch of the at bat. Just sense that if Snyder runs into one right here, this game is far from over.
But it looks like he keeps getting just a little bit closer to catching up with the fastball. We're going to find out who's going to win the battle here sooner or later.
Long drive, right field, forget about it. Travis Snyder has just gone deep.
Great at bat from Travis Snyder. 3-2, he fought off 5 pitches. The 3-2 pitch that should have finished him off, a tough breaking ball, he fought that one off, fouled off the fastball. They try to go back to the breaking ball again. He hangs it, leaves it right in the middle of the plate, and determination pays off for Travis Snyder with a 3-run home run.
11th pitch of the at bat. And the Blue Jays and their ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark keeps them in games. Right back in it. Boy, you're watching a young man develop right before your eyes. Boy, this bottom of the order has been dangerous. Doug Mathis will come in. Rich Harden knocked out of the game here in the 3rd.
No doubt where this one was headed the moment it left the bat. And give Travis Snyder a lot of credit. 3-2 count, he fought off several tough pitches, and his determination finally paid off for him with that 3-run home run. And sometimes that's all it is. Sometimes what determines the outcome in an at bat is how determined you are. to win the battle.
Now Doug Mathis will try to slow the Jays down here in the third. Mathis has given up runs in 4 of his last 6 outings. He's been hit around a little bit of late. Just in the third inning here. Base hit Fred Lewis.
Well, at this point, you'd have to say if the bullpen will be the deciding factor in this ball game. Whoever pitches the best out of the bullpen tonight is probably going to win this game.
The Jays have made it a 2-run game here with 4 in the bottom of the third. It is 9-7. Rangers up by 2. Mathis last worked on Wednesday against Oakland. Rangers played 12 innings yesterday afternoon against Oakland. They used 5 relievers in that game. C.J. Wilson pitched 7 innings. But going into extra innings, they had to go deep into their pen. A ball on a strike to Aaron Hill. Here's the pitching line for Rich Harden. Just 2 2/3 innings, 4 hits. The walks play a big part in this game tonight. 6 walks issued by Rich Harden, including the first 3 batters of the game.
All 3 of those batters, as it turned out, would score in the first inning.
Just foul down the third baseline. Mathis has that good heavy sinking fastball. It's in on the fists of right-handed hitters.
You know, Aaron Hill, he said he's seeing the ball well, but he's just not squaring it up. He's just missing too many good pitches to hit.
Outside 2-2.
You know, he made the comment. He said, you know, at this level, oftentimes you only get maybe that one pitch in an at bat to hit, and you better not miss it. And lately, he hasn't been able to square it up. Since coming off the disabled list, he's yet to really hit his stride.
There goes Lewis. Another walk. 2 on now with 2 outs. And here comes Mike Maddox again, and Maddox, the pitching coach, a proponent of throwing strikes. And his pitchers tonight have had a tough time doing that. The Jays have scored 4 runs here in the bottom of the third inning. 2 home runs, a solo shot by Lyle Overbay, and a 3-run home run by Travis Snyder. They've closed the gap to 2 runs.
Well, all 3. Freddie Lewis has walked and scored and now singled in the game. John Buck has walked twice and he has scored a run, kept this inning alive, battling after falling behind in the count, drew the base on balls. And then Travis Snyder, who's been on a tear, has hit a 3-run home run. So the 3 that were highlighted prior to the start of this ball game have factored into the Jays being able to come back and get into this game again.
Adam Lynn makes the first pitch inside. It's the second time in 3 innings the Blue Jays have sent 9 men to the plate. Way outside. Two balls, no strikes. Tapped up the first base line. Smoke shovels to Mathis. He misses the ball. Here comes Fred Lewis to score. Lewis alertly kept rounding third base, looked up and saw the ball on the ground and comes in to score. It's a one-run game.
Well, Mathis had a little trouble getting over to cover first base. He didn't get started right away. Good hustle by Adam Lynn, going hard down the line. Here you get a great view of that's Freddie Lewis round second. Brian Butterfield sending him all the way. And he will score without a throw.
Vernon Wells popped up to start the inning. Outside. Blue Jays have scratched back. 2 home runs in the inning, an infield hit for Adam Lynn, and it's a one-run game. A little bit of a buzz around the Rogers Center now.
Yeah, place has found some life again, hasn't it?
We're in the third. 17 runs on 15 hits. And it's a one-run game. Max Ramirez, I don't know how he caught that thing. He just stuck his glove out there and it just hit it. That ball was about 3 feet in front of home plate. 2 men on, 2 outs.
We're just in the bottom of the third, and Max Ramirez has had a good workout already tonight.
Vernon Wells, long drive left field. 3-run home run.
Vernon Wells is having a great season and just continues to do so here. A fastball that runs right back into his wheelhouse. You could almost sense that that was going to happen just based upon the way this game has gone so far this evening.
Lyle Overbay's already homered in this inning. Vernon Wells, the 3rd home run in the inning.
Wells, of course, now with 10 home runs, 29 RBIs on the season.
Breaking ball outside. That home run for Wells gives him 202 career home runs, and that ties him with George Bell in the Blue Jay home run ranking. They're 1 behind Joe Carter. Three and one.
And you just sense that this Jays ball club, they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. You almost, when you scan the dugout, you can just see guys that are confident, they're enthused, they're playing with a lot of energy, and feel like they're never out of a baseball game, that they can come back and win. And they've most certainly done that here tonight.
Another walk. Third walk in the inning. That's a bad combination. Walks and home runs in the same inning. Travis Snyder hit his 6th home run, a 3-run shot, and then Wells, another 3-run home run in the same inning, his 10th. Vernon Wells has driven in 4 runs. Alex Gonzalez takes a pitch away. Breaking ball fouled off the plate. A ball and a strike to the Blue Jays shortstop. Right on the corner. First time this year the Blue Jays have hit 3 home runs in an inning. Timing's perfect. They were down by 6. Gonzalez strikes out. Blue Jays send 12 batters to the plate. 3 of them hit home runs. Snyder with 2 on. Season with MLB.TV. Watch over 2,000 games live or on demand in high definition quality. Packages start at $99.99. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. Vladdy Guerrero has 2 hits and driven in 3 runs tonight. Josh Renicky in his 2nd inning of relief. Renicky gave up a run in the 3rd inning. That put the Rangers up by 6. Oh, 2 off the plate inside. I tell you what, it's fun to watch him swing the bat, isn't it? And there's nothing that's not in play when it comes toward home plate. Vladdy Guerrero's got a chance to hit it.
If the bat is long enough for him to reach it, he's got a chance. You know, for a power hitter and a free swinger, he has great hand-eye coordination, makes a lot of contact. There you get a 2-2 fastball, and he's falling down swinging at it. I mean,
right on it. Yep.
And he just misses it. You know, there were those that thought maybe his best days were behind him, but he's off to a great start here in 2010.
Ow. Yeah, hit him, not sure where, but that ball really ran in on him.
Looked like it might have hit him on the elbow. Get a look at it here. Yeah, just right on the left elbow, and that does hurt.
Right on the point of the elbow, that's a tough one. So many of these hitters nowadays wear that pad on the elbow and on the tricep. That doesn't surprise you. They're glad he's going to stay in the game. You can see that hurt. You can see he is in some pain going down to first base. So he reaches to start the fourth inning, hit by pitch. Ian Kinsler. Two balls and no strikes. You and I were standing around the cage at the start of BP, and the wind was blowing, the roof was open, and we said, you know what, the ball's really flying tonight. Pretty good analysis, huh?
Yeah. We're dead on with that call.
3 balls and no strikes.
It wasn't BP. The ball was just jumping out of the ballpark because of the way the wind was swirling around here at Rogers Center. And oftentimes around game time or shortly thereafter, the wind just kind of calms down and is not a factor. But that hasn't been the case here tonight.
All of a sudden, Josh Renicky is having trouble finding the strike zone. Hit Guerrero and now walks Kinsler. Casey Jansen begins to loosen up. You know, the roof has been open all night. The wind's been swirling around it. You just wonder if that hasn't thrown the pitchers off. And all of the pitchers we've seen here tonight have had trouble throwing strikes.
We have yet to have anybody in this ball game on the mound have any type of consistent command.
Rich Harden had a 1-2-3 second inning, but other than that, every inning has been a real challenge for the pitchers.
In batting practice, standing down behind the cage, the wind was literally hitting us in the back and blowing out towards center field. And it could be that appears it's the same way right now, and you know, it could be have an effect on a pitcher's delivery or balance.
Nelson Cruz ducks away from a Renicky fastball. Cruz has 4 ribbies tonight. Sac fly and a bases clearing double.
Seems like everybody in the lineup has 4 ribbies so far here tonight.
We had mentioned that the last time Brett Cecil started against the Rangers, the final score in that game last August 31st was 18-10. Inside corner.
Well, this one's well on its way to being something around that score again.
The Blue Jays were actually up 11-0 after 4.5 innings, and then the Rangers scored 7 in the bottom of the 5th. A ball and 2 strikes to Nelson Cruz. Nobody out. Struck him out. Good bounce back for Josh Renicky. His second strikeout since entering the game.
Yeah, this is just a challenge fastball, and he throws it right by Nelson Cruz.
Justin Smoke, the first baseman, 0 for 2 tonight. Smoke, former #1 pick of the Rangers in 2008, the 11th pick overall in the June draft out of the University of South Carolina. Two balls and no strikes. Guerrero's at second. Kinsler's at first. 1 out here, top of the 4th inning. Three balls and no strikes.
Well, if Jansen is ready in the bullpen, if Renicky is unable to retire Smoke, it may be the end of his night this evening.
That walk loads the bases. Renicky has walked 4 and hit a batter, and Cito Gaston's come out of the dugout. And he has made the call for Casey Jansen. Casey Jansen will come here and try to get out of this bases loaded situation with 1 out. Host Brandon Wheat Kings are taking on the Windsor Spitfires, and you can catch all the action on all Sportsnet channels. Opening game of the Memorial Cup. Casey Jansen, third Blue Jays pitcher of the night, takes over here with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 4th inning.
See Casey in 14 of the 3rd innings of work, 12 strikeouts, but situation right here where a strikeout's nice, but a double play ground ball would be huge.
First pitch strike.
And Casey Jansen, when he's at his best, very, very good control to both sides of the plate with all of his pitches. Primarily a fastball slider pitcher.
No balls and a strike. Max Ramirez. Fly ball, power alley to right center. Travis Snyder on the run, long run, and makes the catch on the warning track. Guerrero tags at third. He comes in to score. Kinsler's coming around third. Travis Snyder with a long run to right center. Guerrero comes in to score.
Well, Travis Snyder doesn't get enough credit for his defensive ability in the outfield. He had an excellent jump and took a great route and an outstanding running catch. Slips there, but quickly gets the ball back into the infield and prevents Kinsler from coming all the way around from second.
That was a good play because after the slip, he kept his balance and got the ball back in the infield. Kinsler was well around third. If he doesn't get that ball back in quickly, he's going to score. So it's a 11-10 game. David Murphy comes on as a pinch hitter, batting for Craig Gentry. 2 outs, runners at the corner. Kinsler's at third, Smokes at first.
And Murphy
left side. Fred Lewis over, but ball's back into the seats.
has been tough on the Jays coming into the ball game tonight. His career batting average against 323. So well, he's hitting 233 here in this pinch hit situation. He's had a lot of success against the Jays pitching staff.
A ball and a strike to the pinch hitter. Bouncing ball, Overbay to second for the force out. Good range by Overbay. Casey Jansen gets out of it. It's a one-run game, 11-10. Takes on Inter Milan in the finals Saturday, May 22nd, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Time. UEFA Champions League final. Jose Bautista. Drive to left field. David Murphy, who has just entered the game as a pinch hitter, takes over. He moves into left field, and Josh Hamilton moves from left to center. One pitch, one out here, bottom of the fourth. Josh Hamilton has played a lot of center field, and he just slides over. John Buck walked and scored ahead of the Travis Snider 3-run home run last inning. Blue Jays hit 3 home runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Overbay a solo shot, Snider a 3-run home run, Vernon Wells a 3-run home run. Four more extra base hits tonight for the Blue Jays. Line drive left field in front of Murphy, keeps it in front of him. John Buck has a base hit.
Well, John Buck looks like a completely different hitter than he did if you go back 2 to 3 weeks ago. He has really picked it up and came a long way after a very, very tough start. And that last ball to left field was hit right on the nose.
Travis Snider, his 6th home run. His last at bat. Bouncing ball to Andrews. Kinsler not in time. Snider runs well, and they didn't have time to turn 2.
Well, Travis Snider runs very well, and he plays hard and never gives up. And he keeps the inning alive by staying out of the double play. This right here should have been routine. But you see, great effort down the line, and it appears at times that middle infielders around the league don't realize how well that Travis Snider runs, and they get a little bit lazy or deliberate with their turn around the bag at second base, and we've seen him on a number of occasions beat the relay to first base.
Fred Lewis takes a first pitch strike right on the corner. Average back up to 300 for Lewis.
I think people look at the build of Travis Snider, and he doesn't look like someone that would run particularly well, but we've seen it there. He beats out the double play, and he went a good distance with the bases loaded to make an outstanding running catch deep in right center in the top of the 4th inning. He was a running back in high school, football player, good athlete.
1-2. Lewis fouls it straight back. Blue Jays lead it 11-10. They scored 8 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning to take the lead. Fair ball, left field line. Snider around second, headed for third. Lewis goes into second base. Snider is held at third base. Oh, what a 2-strike approach for Fred Lewis. Just punched that ball inside the bag at third. Another multi-hit game for Lewis.
Just trying to make contact. Ball looked like it was off the plate, but sometimes you're just trying to make contact. It pays off, and Fred Lewis continues to swing a hot bat.
Lewis has multi-hits in 8 of the last 10 games he's played in. He now has 11 doubles in 101 at-bats. Pretty interesting addition to this team.
He really has been, and sometimes a change of scenery, or maybe playing for a manager that takes the pressure away and just says, look, I'm going to write your name in the lineup, just go play and don't worry about your results. You're going to be in left field.
Aaron Hill chases a high fastball.
And sometimes that helps a player relax. When Devon White came over here from the Angels, Cito Gaston said, don't worry about what you hit. We're going to put you out there in center field. We're going to write you in the lineup every day. Just go play. And we know what the result of that was.
Off the plate inside, a ball on the strike. Devon White became an all-star and an integral part of back-to-back World Series. A ball on the strike. 2 outs. Breaking ball in the dirt. Bottom of the 4th inning here. Dre's threatening with 2 outs. Aaron Hill with the count in his favor. Adam Lind on deck. Long drive left field. Aaron Hill has just hit another 3-run homer.
Well, this lineup's going to become very special if that man right there gets hot and Adam Lind heats up. Well, you're going to have a pretty tough lineup to have to deal with from the standpoint of a pitcher. A fastball up, out over the plate, and Aaron Hill, a great fastball hitter, drives it out of the ballpark. But let's go back for a moment to the hustle by Travis Snyder. What could have been an inning-ending double play. He busts hard down the first base line all the way, keeps the inning alive, and the result, the Jays score 3.
And John McDonald just came over to acknowledge that fact right there. He said, you kept that inning alive and allowed Aaron Hill to come up with 2 on because you hustled. Didn't take anything for granted. Adam Lind to center field. Hamilton back-to-back home runs.
And back-to-back home runs from 2 guys that have really been struggling, Aaron Hill and Adam Lind.
Fourth time this year the Jays have gone back-to-back.
Just enjoy this one.
(15-10). 5 home runs hit by the Jays. And we're in the 4th. A ball and 2 strikes. Vernon Wells hit a 3-run home run in the 3rd. His 202nd career home run, tying him with George Bell. High bouncing ball. Michael Young cuts it off and goes to first for the out. 2 more home runs in the 4th. Aaron Hill, Adam Lind, back-to-back. Perspective to watch home runs, and there were 5 of them coming off the bats of the Blue Jays. 15-10. Top of the 5th inning. Elvis Andrus has extended his hit streak to 14 games. Hits in each of his first 2 at-bats. Casey Jansen came on with the bases loaded and 1 out. Gave up a sac fly and then got out of the inning. Minimized the damage. The breaking ball there gets Andrus to swing. Jansen had a 1-2-3 7th inning on Tuesday in Boston. Struck out the side in that inning. Ground ball. Aaron Hill to Overbay. 1 out. Well, Angie made a great point about Aaron Hill and Adam Lind. If they can get it going and pick up the pace that they had last year, this team will turn into an offensive juggernaut.
Well, at that point, then where do you go to get an out? I mean, you start to go up and down the lineup. The lineup's going to have tremendous depth. And it's interesting. You can look at it, say, well, they both really struggled, but if you look at their career numbers, you would have to say, okay, from this point on, once they heat up, they hit 320, 330, 340 the rest of the way.
Fly ball to right. 2 outs.
I mean, at some point, both of them are going to heat up and find their stroke.
And it's been a good balance all year long. We talk about the bottom third of the order. Bautista Buck and Travis Snyder heating up. Then Fred Lewis got hot. Vernon Wells and Gonzalez were tearing it up in April. Now if Adam Lind and Aaron Hill can get it going here in the middle of May, be pretty promising. Josh Hamilton with 2 outs. Swings and drives it right field. Hanging up for Snyder, and Casey Jansen has a 1-2-3 5th. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases. For more information and tickets, call 416-341-1234. Or you can log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Junior Jays Saturday tomorrow. Dustin Nippert comes out of the bullpen. He'll be the 3rd Rangers pitcher of the night.
14 games, opponents hitting .278 against Dustin Nippert. That ERA a little inflated. 18 1/3 innings of work. 19 strikeouts. A little better than 1 an inning, but you see the 12 walks. Well, lots of times it just seems when you see that inflated ERA, the first thing that jumps out at you is the base on balls.
Always going to create problems. You'll be pitching out the stretch. You'll be facing guys with runners on, and then you make a mistake and you're looking at a crooked number. Lyle Overbay's had a big night. Cued off the end of the bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Overbay drove in 2 with a double in the first inning, then hit his 3rd home run in the 3rd inning. A solo shot to right, and then walked again in that 3rd inning. Fought off a good pitch.
If it, I was talking about earlier, is you take a hitter like Lyle Overbay, who's hitting 183, but over his career has been a very good, solid hitter.
Ground ball left side. Andrews, no play. A 3-hit night for Lyle Overbay.
And you know, for him to ultimately get back up and finish where he is, maybe around where his career numbers are on average, it means that from this point on, the rest of the way, he's going to have to hit 300 or better. So if that makes any sense.
Generally, you get a guy that's got 4, 5, 6, 7 years in the big leagues, you're going to hit about what you normally hit.
You're going to be right around that number when the season's over with. And you know, when you start to heat up, sometimes you start to get base hits like that last hit that Overbay got. Ball was not hit hard.
Check swing foul.
But just out of the reach of Michael Young at 3rd base. And of course, Andrews had to go range far to his right, unable to make any type of a throw to first base.
Fair ball. Young to second for 1, and that's all they'll get. Michael Young going into foul territory made a good throw to second for the force out.
Very, very fine play. He made it look easy. A ball he had to backhand and then quickly get rid of it to Kinsler at second base. Has very, very quick feet and that enables him to get the throw off very quickly and get the force out at second base. What a tremendous athlete, Michael Young.
1 out for Jose Bautista.
You know, Michael Young kind of comes by it naturally, though. His mother has a nephew who was the WBO light welterweight champion from 93 through 94. And he has a cousin on his father's side that played minor league baseball in the San Francisco Giants organization. So very athletic family.
Yeah, young families got a few boxers in their family, and you can see how athletic Michael Young is. To be able to move from second to short, back to second, over to third. It's quite a challenge. A ball and a strike. Bautista backed out.
Well, you'd have to say that not only is he, Michael Young, been a tremendous player, but he also has been a tremendous teammate and organizational person. He always puts the ball club and its needs ahead of anything personal.
Two and one. Bautista pops it up left side of the diamond. Michael Young in fair territory makes the catch. 2 outs.
The type of career that he's had, been an all-star, tremendous player, and yet he's been asked on 2 occasions to move to make room for first. He moved from second base over to short. Second base was his original position. And then last year was asked to make the move over to third for Andrews, the young shortstop.
John Buck had a single in his last at bat. That's extending his hitting streak to 7 straight games. Foul back. (15-10). Blue Jays lead the Rangers here, bottom of the 5th inning. Littrell been back and forth all night. Both clubs scored 3 in the first. Rangers 5 in the second. Blue Jays 8 in the third. Self-defense there. That ball was up and in. John Buck broke his bat.
Well, Dustin Nippert throws very hard. Here's a look at this last pitch. Fastball running up and in. Tries to check his swing and get out of the way all at the same time. Nippert with a very, very good arm. Can get it up 94, 95.
A ball and 2 strikes to John Buck. Cut. Blue Jays have hit 5 home runs tonight, including 3 in the 3rd inning. The 34th time the club has hit 5 or more home runs in a game.
You know, recently I read a quote from John Buck. He was asked what his approach is at the plate. It's somewhat unusual. Says he looks to hit the breaking ball first, and then just react to the fastball and take it to right center. And usually that kind of goes complete opposite against what everybody else would do. That's try to look for the fastball first and then react to something other than the fastball.
Drive to center field. Hamilton is there, and John Buck's retired. Dustin Nippert comes out of the bullpen and throws up a 0. 15-10 Blue Jays. Fans are allowed to vote a maximum of 25 times per email address. Vote early, vote often. The All-Star Game. Lots of hitters are swinging it like all-stars tonight. Good breaking ball from Casey Janssen.
Notice this time
Got the
Guerrero
elbow
has
pad,
that.
yeah.
He's got the elbow pad on this time.
Oh, 0-2.
Not often you see Vladimir Guerrero take 2 pitches for called strikes back to back.
Well, it takes a strong man to check your swing at that pitch. Down and away, got bat started, and he just used those strong hands to check his swing.
Well, he says he got his strong hands from when he was a young boy. He had to herd cattle. And sometimes they were a little stubborn, and he had to use his hands to get them to move and get them back where they needed to be. And he said that's where he developed such strong hands and upper body.
Yeah, he's a big man. He weighs about 230, about 6'3". A lot of people compare him to Roberto Clemente, but Guerrero's a much bigger man than Clemente was. A ball and 2 strikes. Got him. Chase that breaking ball. Casey Janssen. Couple of tough pitches to Vladdy Guerrero. Gets his first strikeout.
Well, it's not unusual to see Vlad Guerrero go out of the strike zone and chase a bad pitch, but it's not often he swings and misses. Jansen gets him to chase there. And swinging strike 3.
Ian Kinsler, the second baseman, has walked twice, scored a run. Bit of a cut fastball just off the plate. A 1-2. Just missed downstairs. Jansen had a tough inning on Saturday in Chicago. Came on to face A.J. Przinsky with runners at second and third. Eventually issued the intentional pass and then walked 2 with the bases loaded. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jansen.
Well, since entering the ball game, Casey Jansen's made a lot of quality pitches. In this particular at bat, Kinsler did not see one good pitch to hit. They were all excellent location.
Well, after that tough 7th inning in Chicago, he bounced back with a 1-2-3 8th inning, and he's been great ever since. That one inning where he really lost his command was the exception to what Casey Jansen has done this year. He's been very consistent.
I was watching the ball game when he had that rough 7th, and I've never seen him that wild. But normally, and that's been the case here tonight for Casey Jansen, very, very good control.
Now, this has truly been a team effort here tonight. Both starters, Rich Hard and Brett Cecil, left early. The hitters on both clubs have gone back and forth, but now Casey Jansen trying to stabilize things for the Blue Jays. Casey Jansen strikes out to side. Guerrero, Kinsler, Cruz, strikeout victims. start of that 8-run third inning.
Well, it was the big swing that really got the Jays right back in the ball game. At that point, it was a 2-run ball game. But also, he's really factored in his last at bat what should have been a routine double play. He hustles down the line, beats it out, keeps the inning alive, and the Jays would go ahead and score 4 times in the bottom of the 4th inning, because that would be followed by a double by Freddie Lewis, a home run, 3-run home run from Aaron Hill, and a solo shot from Adam Lynn.
Another base hit for Travis Snyder. Sharp ground ball through the right side. He's 2 for 4 tonight. Average keeps on climbing. The Blue Jays have hit 5 home runs tonight. It's the 34th time in their franchise history they've hit 5 or more in a game. And one Rance Mullinax got it all started back in '83. Part of a 5 home run game against Minnesota. Fred Lewis takes a pitch inside. You were also part of that 10 home run game in '87.
Yes.
I didn't know you had that much power.
Wind was blowing out, but
you were speechless.
And that doesn't happen to me very often, does it?
Fred Lewis, a good swing. 10 home runs, still the single game record for home runs in a game. Set against the Orioles September 14, 1987 at Exhibition Stadium. You hit 2 in that game.
They hit one off the starter. I think Dixon was the starter. And then later on, I forget who the other one was off. One was to left center, one was right center. I remember that. I remember Rob Ducey homered in the game, Lloyd Mosby, George Bell, Fred McGriff, and Ernie hit 3.
He hit the second one off Bell. Yeah, Ernie Witt hit 3 home runs in that game. 2 balls and a strike to Fred Lewis. Fly ball to left field. David Murphy comes in a couple of steps, and Lewis is retired.
But what I remember the most about that game was in the 8th inning, Cal Ripken Sr. took Cal Ripken Jr. out of the game. And that ended a streak. He missed the last inning of the game, I believe. And that ended a consecutive inning streak of something like 8,240 some odd innings that Cal had played consecutive.
Aaron Hill homered his last at bat. Went too far. Hunter Wendelstedt down at first base. I guess the only guy that could end that streak for Cal Ripken Jr. was Cal Ripken Sr. Felt like he was comfortable enough to take him out of the game at that point. Breaking ball down. A ball on the strike to Aaron Hill.
Well, and that was 1987, so, you know, Cal Ripken was still a long way out from breaking the consecutive game record, of course, set by Lou Gehrig many, many years ago. And, of course, we all know that Cal Ripken surpassed that.
There goes Snyder. Inside pitch, no throw. Third steal of the season for Travis Snyder.
Dustin Nippert not paying much attention to Travis Snyder over at first base, and Travis with a very, very good jump. Even if Ramirez handles that pitch cleanly, he's not going to throw Snyder out.
And he'll missed a high breaking ball. He had a good cut at that.
Yes, he did. It didn't fool him. He saw it very well. It's like he told us. He said, you know, I'm seeing it. I'm just not squaring it up as often as I need to. And that last pitch was a great example. A hanging breaking ball. He's right on it, but fouls it off.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Snyder at second. Kinsler from his knees makes a good play on Aaron Hill. All-star second baseman retires an all-star second baseman. Good play by Ian Kinsler. Snyder moves to third.
Just a reaction play. And Kinsler with a diving stop of a ball hit very hard by Aaron Hill, and then a snap throw from his knees to get the out.
Important part of the Rangers team with the bat and with the glove. Ian Kinsler back on the roster. Adam Lind, his 6th home run in his last at bat.
You have Kinsler at second base, Andrews at short, and Young at third. You're pretty good around the infield.
A lot of range. Good hands, very good athletes, and a lot of range. 1 ball, no strikes to Adam Lind. Line drive to Kinsler. Snyder gets a hit, but he's stranded at third base. Blue Jays are still up by 5. Alternate channel, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific time. Check sportsnet.ca for channel information. Ricky Romero goes up against Scott Feldman, the pitching matchup in tomorrow's game. Casey Jansen struck out the side into 6th. Hop up behind home plate. Buck off with the mask and makes the catch. Casey Jansen has retired 8 in a row.
Well, Casey Jansen, since entering the ballgame, has really restored order for the Jays as far as the Jays are concerned. Got some help. The first hitter he faced was Ramirez, who, with the bases loaded, hit a ball deep to right center, and an outstanding defensive play by the right fielder Travis Snyder to track it down. And since then, he's been nails.
Well, he's pounding that strike zone with all of his pitches. The slider right there gets ahead of Ramirez. Max Ramirez homered in his first at bat and put the Rangers up 4-3 at the time. A ball and 2 strikes on the Rangers catcher. Off the end of the bat, out of play. A ball and 2 strikes, 1 out here in the 7th inning.
And Jansen's been a great example of the importance of command. He's really the first pitcher, or the only pitcher really in this ball game, that's had very, very good control, and the result to both sides of the plate. And the result is he's pitched very, very effectively.
Came in with 1 out in the 4th inning. Three balls, 2 strikes on Max Ramirez. Up the right side, back into the seats. Jansen has not allowed a base runner to reach against him since he came into the ball game. Ramirez hit the sacrifice fly to right. That was the first batter Jansen faced. Then he got the pinch hitter Murphy to hit into a fielder's choice. Sharply hit to left field. That'll be in front of Fred Lewis for a base hit. The first base runner allowed by Casey Jansen. Cito Gaston is popped out of the dugout with David Murphy, the left-hander, scheduled to hit. And Rami Lewis is going to come out of the bullpen. What a job by Casey Jansen to bring some stability to this game. Rami Lewis will come on with 1 on and 1 out here in the 7th. Will play 2 afternoon games, 1:07 starts. Minnesota then comes in for 2 games. Monday night at 7:07, Tuesday afternoon at 12:37. For tickets, call 416-341-1234 or log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Both of these clubs, Texas and Minnesota, leading their respective divisions. Rami Lewis. So David Murphy throws a pitch up and away. Murphy came on as a pinch hitter in the 4th. Stayed in the game and took over in left field.
Robbie Lewis in 8 1/3 has not walked a hitter so far this year. 8 strikeouts. See, the league hits .226 against him.
Outside, 2 balls and a strike. Lewis came into the game Monday at Fenway Park and pitched a career high 3 innings. He allowed just 1 hit. It was an infield hit to Kevin Youkilis. He struck out a pair of batters. Really his best outing to date. At a time when the Blue Jays really needed some innings out of the bullpen, he and Josh Renicky combined for 5 1/3, and Casey Jansen finished up the 8th. Three balls and 2 strikes. Rami Lewis allowed the Blue Jays to get within a run. Jose Bautista hit a 2-run home run in the 5th, but they couldn't score against the back end of the Red Sox bullpen. There's the first walk issued by Rami Lewis. Now Elvis Andrus will bat with runners at first and second. Blue Jays are up by 5. It's 15-10 here. Top of the 7th inning. Ball just missed downstairs. Andrus has a couple of hits tonight. He's up his average to .317.
Elvis Andrus just seems to get better with every ball game. Had a very solid rookie season last year and is off to a very good start here in 2010.
Rangers have done a good job of developing players. Ian Kinsler, the second baseman, came through their system. Of course, Michael Young started out in the Blue Jays system. 2 balls and a strike. Three and 1. But they had so much confidence in Andrews, they asked Michael Young to move from short to third base. I mean, that's a pretty bold move when you have a 20-year-old rookie and you move an all-star shortstop to third.
Well, he hit .267 last year.
Back-to-back walks. And Cito Gaston not going to allow any momentum to continue to build because of the base on balls, has called down to the bullpen for Jason Frazier. So far, Casey Jansen's been the only one to figure out the mound at the Rogers Center tonight. Bases loaded. Sports, Inc. Music provided by Universal Canada. Jason Frazier comes out of the Blue Jays bullpen with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Well, Jason Frazier, just like Casey Jansen, will inherit a bases loaded situation and have to face a tough out in Michael Young.
Young 3 for 10 against Jason Frazier. Jumped on the first fastball he saw. We're in the 7th. Rangers threatening here with the bases loaded and 1 out. On the ground, Bautista comes home for the force out. Good play. Good job. Off balance throw on the money to John Buck. Saved a run.
Well, it was a heads-up play. He was playing back, double play depth. This is a ball that's not hit hard. You would have thought that he would have just went on to first base to record the out, but realizes that he has a chance to throw the runner out at the plate. Ramirez, of course, who did not run well. A nice heads-up play by Jose Bautista. Not only to save a run, but if you go to first base and record the out, that run scores, and they still have 2 runners in scoring position and a base hit. They're right back in it.
2 outs for Josh Hamilton.
But that's not a play you see often.
Well, he reminded himself, obviously, he had the catcher at third base. And it's going to be a tough play. You're only going to get 1, so why not go to the plate when you know you've got some time, because the catcher doesn't have much speed. Good fastball on the corner. Hamilton had a bloop single in the first inning. And since then, he's 0 for 3. Good changeup.
And he's had a lot of trouble with the breaking ball tonight. He struck out his second at bat. Steady diet of breaking balls from, of course, that was from the left-hander Brett Cecil. And then he struck out again in the 3rd inning on an off-speed pitch. And here he waves at a good changeup well out in front of it. And you know, if you're Jason Frazier, maybe double up, throwing the same pitch again. Make sure you get it down and out of the strike zone. See if he'll chase.
That's what he does. He gets the ground ball. Aaron Hill goes to first base, and Frazier comes in with the bases loaded and strands 3. Good job coming out of the bullpen. Heads up play by Bautista. Blue Jays still lead by 5. 15-10 as they are set to bat here in the 7th. Vernon Wells has driven in 4 with a ground ball out and a 3-run home run. Dustin Nippert, his 3rd inning of relief, came on in the 5th. Vernon Wells reminded himself to stay off that high fastball. That's the one that looks so inviting, but that's difficult to catch up to. Ground ball right side. Kinsler has it. Wells is retired.
Lyle Overbay looks like he might be starting to heat up, and his first at bat doubles off the base of the wall in left center, and his next one would homer to right field. And then single. End up being an infield hit. The shortstop Andrews was able to cut it off, but no chance to make a play on Overbay at first base. And Lyle has a perfect night. 3 hits, 3 for 3, and he's walked once.
Looking for the triple for the cycle. And he has one triple this year.
That's why you were never a threat to hit for the cycle, Buck.
I was a little short on the doubles, too. 2 balls and no strikes. All the way back to the screen. We have seen some hitters turn things around in the month of May. John Buck, Travis Snyder, Fred Lewis. Overbay has been on base 5 times. Mentioned the Rangers having to use 5 relievers in yesterday's game against Oakland. Not wanting to go much deeper into this game. Nippert pitched an inning in yesterday's game, picked up the win, but only threw 7 pitches.
Yeah, the most certainly have put themselves in a situation now to where you look at tomorrow, and the start by Kobe Lewis really becomes important in the sense that you really need him to go deep into the game tomorrow. After yesterday 12 innings, you have to use your bullpen. They've had to use the bullpen a lot here tonight.
Gonzalez to the gap in right center. Cruz on the run. It's off the wall. Here comes Overbay getting the go-ahead from third, and he will score on no throw. Alex Gonzalez, his 14th double, has driven home Lyle Overbay.
It looked like a breaking ball that was out over the plate, but Alex Gonzalez drives it deep into right center. Well, he has more power to his opposite field than you would think. I mean, he gave that ball a ride.
Boy, what a season he has had. It's been a little bit of a struggle in the month of May, but he continues to get big hits. Hitting for power.
And he's been spectacular at shortstop. Started a double play here tonight on a very tough ground ball that he was able to make an adjustment on.
Jose Bautista has a hit and scored a run. Blue Jays now 16 runs on 14 hits, and they've hit 5 home runs. They've hit 3 doubles here tonight as you look at Chris Ray loosening up for the Rangers. Blue Jays have 3 doubles, 5 home runs, 8 more extra base hits. They have 162 extra base hits now. At the start of play tonight, they had 27 more than the second club, the Boston Red Sox. They don't have a very high batting average, but boy, they're doing some damage.
Well, if you're not going to hit for a big average, then you better hit for power and produce runs. With the extra base hit and the home run, and you take the guy at the plate, Bautista, he's hitting 216.
Broken back, base hit into center field. Gonzalez coming around third. Hamilton has a strong arm to throw to the plate in time. Gonzalez is tagged out at the plate. Strong throw from Josh Hamilton. You don't see many center fielders that have that kind of arm strength.
You don't see too many outfielders, period, with this type of arm strength. And where he made the play, he being Hamilton, is he charges the ball very hard, comes up quickly, sets himself, and a strike to the catcher Ramirez, who does a nice job to take the plate away from Gonzalez and make the tag. Well, that was a tremendous throw by Hamilton, the center fielder.
Now with 2 outs, John Buck takes the first pitch strike.
But Bautista, 7 home runs, 23 RBIs. He's scored 20 runs, so he has been productive. His 20 runs is third on the ball club behind Wells, who scored 25. And Gonzalez, who has scored 22, at least entering the ball game tonight.
John Buck went too far on that ball in the dirt. No balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the 7th. Blue Jays have added a run on Alex Gonzalez's RBI double. Way outside. Buck goes down swinging. Blue Jays add a run here in the 7th. Alex Gonzalez drives in his 28th run. Blue Jays lead at 16-10.
Travis Snyder, after fouling off 5 pitches on a 3-2 count, his determination pays off. He hits a big 3-run home run in the bottom of the 3rd inning. That would get the Jays back in the ball game and within striking distance. They have since, of course, gone on and taken a 6-run lead, but Travis Snyder came up big at a critical point in this ball game for the Jays here this evening.
And Mike McCoy takes over defensively in right field for Travis Snyder. Guerrero pops it into the seats down the right side. 8th inning here at the Rogers Center. Vladdy Guerrero having another fast start to his season. .336 with 7 homers and 31 driven in. Good changeup. Bottom dropped out of that thing. .2. Laid off the breaking pitch. Guerrero struck out in his last at bat, reached for a breaking ball down and away from Casey Jansen. Inside 2-2. Jason Frazier came on with the bases loaded, 1 out into the 7th. Got Michael Young to hit into the force out. Jose Bautista made a good play to get the runner at the plate. Max Ramirez forced Ramirez at home, and then Josh Hamilton grounded out to second. Little flare into center field. Guerrero has 3 hits tonight. Just kind of laid the bat on the ball and muscled it into center.
Yeah, just a situation where a good hitter spoils a good pitch. It's a ball with a lot of movement that ran in, down and in on his hands, but he was able to muscle it into center field. And really, aside from the Jays' offense here tonight and the 5 home runs, really the big difference in the game has been the relief pitching of Casey Jansen, who came in the bases loaded, would just give up a sac fly and finish that inning with the Jays still with a 1-run lead. And then Frazier, as you mentioned, came in the last inning, bases loaded, 1 out, and does not allow the Rangers to score. So those 2 huge situations where Jansen and Frazier done a great job.
Yeah, in that situation, you give up an extra base hit, either one of those innings, and it's a totally different story. Outside, a ball and 2 strikes to Ian Kinsler. Kinsler had a high ankle sprain in spring training midway through March. It took him over a month to get right and get back off the disabled list. Frazier strikes him out. Good breaking ball. Again, down and away.
But a key for Frazier is, much as it was for Casey Jansen, he's made a lot of quality pitches since entering the ball game, and that 1-2, that's right where you want that breaking ball. Started in the strike zone, let it finish down and off the plate.
Nelson Cruz drove in 4 runs early in the game. Both Jansen and Frazier have pitched ahead. That's the difference in their outing tonight. They were able to get ahead and really take the sting out of the Ranger bats. on the ground. Gonzalez to second for one. Hill to first, double play. Second double play turn tonight by the Blue Jays, and Gonzalez has started both of them. Aaron Hill with a good pivot. Not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Julio Bobon comes in to play center field, replacing Josh Hamilton. And the new pitcher in the game is Chris Ray. Ray takes over for Dustin Nippert. Nippert had pretty good 3 innings of work, and now Ray will try to retire the Blue Jays here in the 8th.
Chris Ray will be in his 18th appearance this year. See, 15 in the third, just 10 hits allowed. The league hitting 182 against him.
Chris Ray, formerly the closer of the Baltimore Orioles, had some arm problems and bounced back. There's a long drive to left field, and Murphy on the warning track retires Mike McCoy. McCoy batting for the first time tonight, put a charge in it, but it fell a little bit short of the warning track.
Just got under it a little bit.
Another good night for Fred Lewis. You can see the late movement on that fastball. Chris Ray, a little bit further removed from his Tommy John surgery, starting to get the life back in his fastball. Good breaking ball. That's a pitch that Fred Lewis handles, but that had an awful lot of late break on it. 0-2. Ow, that hit Aaron Hill on the on-deck circle.
Well, that right there would be the definition of an emergency hack.
Can't wait much later than that. Took it right out of the catcher's glove. 0-2. Struck him out. 95 upstairs. Ray strikes out Fred Lewis.
Second baseman, number 2, Aaron Hill.
Aaron Hill with his 3rd home run of the season. Came in the 4th inning, a 3-run home run. Fred Lewis doubled ahead of him. And then Adam Lind would go back to back. But Hill, home run number 3. Good breaking ball.
Well, Aaron Hill, in his last at bat, hit the ball very hard, was robbed of a base hit by the second baseman Ian Kinsler.
Michael Young. Hill's retired. 1-2-3 inning for Chris Ray. The Rangers will bat in the 9th, trailing by 6. Sportsnet and all Sportsnet channels. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific Time. Game 2 of the Memorial Cup. Sean Camp comes out of the bullpen to pitch the 9th. There's a first pitch strike to Justin Smoke, the Rangers' first baseman. Sinker.
Sean Camp's been outstanding out of the bullpen this year for the Jays. 2.95 ERA. 18 in the 3rd innings of work.
Aaron Hill. 1 out. Casey Jansen really set the tone late in this ball game. 3 innings of 1 hit for relief. Struck out 3, didn't walk a batter. Then Rami Lewis had trouble with the 2 batters he faced. He walked them both, but Jason Frazier was able to come in and bail him out. And now Sean Kemp. Frazier with a strong inning and 2/3 allowed just 1 hit. This game started out fast. Both clubs scored 3 in the first. Rangers put up a 5-spot in the second and looked like they were off and running. They added a run in the third. It was 9-3 at that point, and then the Blue Jays dropped an 8 spot on them, including 3 home runs in the 3rd inning. Good changeup. That has made the difference in Sean Kemp. The ability to throw that sinking changeup.
Well, always in the past, he's been a sinker slider. And that third pitch has really changed things for Sean Kemp. Now he has another weapon and something else that the hitter has to deal with.
High bouncing ball gets in the light, but Bautista uses the turf and throws out Ramirez. Boy, that was a tough play. That ball got up in the lights, but he stayed with it.
Here you can see the reaction here. Had to wait for the ball to come out of the lights, and then the quick snap throw. Still able to get Ramirez, who does not run well. But a nice play by Bautista to stay with it. You know, as a hitter, when it's just the two pitches that you have to deal with, be it sink or slider, you can pick one and know that you can stay with it. You're probably going to get it at some point during the at-bat, but now you mix in that real good changeup. And it also makes his fastball a little better also. It adds a little bit to the fastball because you have to respect the fact that you got to really stay back in order to deal with the changeup.
Sean Kemp with a 1-2-3 ninth inning. The Blue Jays with another comeback win. They were down by 6 early in the game. Vernon Wells, his career home run number 202. Overbay had a big night. 5 home runs in the game, including Adam Lynn's 6th of the season. Blue Jays win it 16-10 on 15 hits and 5 home runs. First game of this series. Thanks for watching from the Rogers Center.